Christmas tree's on fire, Santa's holding the lighter. My parents are both liars, I got gifts but 1 subscribers. Thanks for the candy basket, oh got another jacket. My stocking's filled with acid, am I dreaming? What just happened? This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad, I've been bad, got cold at.
All right. What's up, everybody? Long time no see. Been following everybody all morning, trying to anyway. Thanks for sticking in there and hanging out for yet another show in the Christmas marathon here that Purple is been so great about putting together for 8 years now. Um, Jenny Morgan's going to hang out with me. Jenny hung out last year for Christmas, and I thought, well, I haven't talked to Jenny in a while. No better person to have come hang out for Christmas than that. How are you, Jenny?
I'm fine. And how are you today there, Joe?
Doing okay. Doing okay. I've been oh, am I still
I,
quiet?
I know I haven't seen or talked to you since last year. I should let you know that I did name it after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I would expect nothing less.
Hello, everyone out there. I hope you're having as good of a holidays as you can if you're out there alone. I'm one of those people who's out there alone too, and this is why I do this, because it keeps me sane. Holidays are a tough time for a lot of us, as you well know, and we hope that we can alleviate some of that tension that you may be feeling.
For sure. Can everybody hear me better now? I turned on the auto gain control. It should sound better now. ASMR with Joe, yeah. uh, Wait a second and see if it's better here. It should be better now. No difference, still low. Well, I don't understand. Hmm. Let me see here. Let me. I wonder why that is. Why it's. And, uh, all right. How about now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody can hear Jenny loud and clear, but you can't hear me. Good now. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Had to switch some things around. Um,
Yay, PCs! You have such wonderful um, really application authors. Jeez Louise.
well, to be fair, I just started using EVMux this month, and I'm still learning how to do some stuff in it and everything. And so, yeah, I like everything I can do with it. It's just been bumpy learning how to do it and pull it off successfully. I'm a professional fuck up, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think I've been anywhere that uses EVMux before.
Uh, well, no, not many people do. I like it. It fit exactly what I needed it to do. Which is nothing that StreamYard did. It's not like StreamYard really at all, and I like that. It's OBS. I can't run OBS on my computer and do anything else, so I can stream with OBS and it'll work just fine. But and I know how to capture other people and put them in the stream and all that stuff. But the problem comes in then if I need to do anything else, and with this I can, because a lot of it's being done over my internet connection, which my computer sucks. My internet connection's really, really good though. Um, Jenny was in EV Mugs with me last Christmas, said Maya.
Well, now you know how good my memory is.
Well, I mean, if you hadn't used it before, I wouldn't be surprised that you don't remember it. It's I don't remember what it's like from the guest side of it. I've used it before from the guest side, but I don't honestly remember. I've got a stream coming up with somebody new that most of you are unaware of. Why does my camera keep fucking up? But I've got that show. So I ended up just giving him. I made him a collaborator on the app so that he could just share it like that. So that's the only way I could figure out to do it right now. But yeah, the anyway. So like Jenny said though, I'm glad that we do this thing, and it's a cool spot for people who have a rough time around Christmas, or you just or a special thing for you if you feel that way about it for Christmas, whatever. It's something we all get together and throw in and do, which is really amazing of the whole community to do that. And again, hats off to Purple for putting up with it for 8 years. I can imagine that it's not an easy gig. The so like with me, like I don't really have like there's not religious trauma or anything that makes Christmas tough. It's more my history with drugs and things, like I stole from my family and burned all those bridges and everything. And I mean, we're all cool now. I mean, I've been clean for like 10 years now, so it's a little different now, but for a long time Christmas was just a shitty time of year. It sucked. And I'm glad now, though. I mean, it makes me happy as hell to be part of this, to do this on Christmas. I love this. I loved doing it last year. It's a real sense of just belonging to a community and having friends that want to come see it. So I love it. But that out of the way. I've got some funny stuff for us to do a little commentary on here to watch. I thought Jenny would get a kick out of this. Jenny makes me crack up all the time, so it's my turn. I know what this is going to do because it's a TikTok video. As soon as I share it, it's going to start playing. Yep. All right, hold on a second. Stop. Are you serious? All right. Okay, so let me now. I found this video. Funny as hell, just something to share. I've got something else I'm going to share. It's probably going to get me a copyright strike, but I don't give a shit. It's Christmas, right? Let's go to this view, though. Yeah, we're back to my camera being fucked again, aren't we? Let's get the fucked up wall out of the picture anyway. All right. Perfect. All right. Watch this. This is hilarious. Just for people who's new here and wonder what things are like in Kentucky, this is perfect. So check this out. Maybe.
Here you go, boys. I call this video "Things in a Kentucky Yard That Just Make Sense." kerosene heater for when it gets cold outside. Thank goodness we're protecting it from water damage. Good old camper top for when I shit in the bed and they get mad at me and make me come out here and sleep. No Kentucky yard would be complete without a bunch of random motors just laying around. And if you're a mechanic, you can already tell why this one's gone to shit. Riding lawnmower. Riding lawnmower. Absolutely fucked riding lawnmower. Lawnmowers you could probably ride if you tried hard enough. A whole ass single wide trailer, in which I do not remember where it came from. I think they call this thing a get the fuck out of the way. Can't forget the car that's probably full of fucking snakes. A truck full of junk, hauling a trailer full of junk. I think I pretty much summed everything. Oh, goddamn! Since I just fell in it, that brings up the last thing. Random ass holes nobody tells me about.
All right. Were you able to see and hear that, Jenny?
I'm sorry, I had my mic off. Yes, it's very funny. I love that. Guys should do a longer one.
Yeah, no, he's got a bunch of videos. I don't want to, I don't want to show a whole bunch of his stuff, but this next thing here, but I find that quite funny because it's very much a lots and lots of yards around here that look exactly like that. In fact, I think I've probably had a couple that looked that way. But all right, let's see the next thing.
My living room looks like that. I got a broken down car, two lawn tractors, and a mule.
Hell yeah! Hey, it's not. You're not doing it right unless you've got at least 2 couches on the front porch. You guys covered the redneck engineering stuff over there on Purple's channel, the Mid America Chats thing, and you showed I don't know if it was you or who showed it, but different things of how people had rigged together their cars and all kinds of stuff. And I was watching that and I was like, you have no idea. I could go outside and take pictures of people who have shit like that going on right now. This next thing is a song, and I'm going to share the screen, but there's nothing to see, so I'm going to leave this one small. But I love this. Redneck Jingle Bells.
And hide. I'd never been to visit my daddy's family side. He said they were unique, but I...
Is that not playing? There it is. Did that play at all, Jenny?
I heard audio.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start it over.
Dashing through the barn, trying to get away and hide. I'd never been to visit my daddy's family side. He said they were unique, but I would call them strange. Dad said don't touch Cousin Eddie's hair because he's got the mange. Oh, jingle bells, Granddad smells, my cousin thinks I'm cute. It's kinda cute. Grandma wears a rebel flag and Cabela working boots. Oh, jingle bells, the trailer rails are falling off the blocks. The kids all want to go outside and play dodgeball with rocks.
We gathered all inside. It's time to open gifts. My cousin told me thanks, and she kissed me on the lips. Then, much to my surprise, when I opened up my box, it was a statue of Hank Jr. And my uncle said, he rocks!
Oh, jingle bells, Granddad smells, my cousin thinks I'm cute. It's kinda cute. Grandma wears a rebel flag and Cabela working boots. Oh, jingle bells, the trailer rails are falling off the blocks. The kids all want to go outside and play dodgeball with rocks.
country ain't so bad. Cousin Becky's kinda hot. I just wish before Grandma would kiss, she'd wipe away the snot.
Oh, jingle bells, Granddad smells. My cousin thinks I'm cute.
He's kinda cute.
Grandma wears a rebel flag and Cabela working boots. Oh, jingle bells, the trailer rails are falling off the blocks. The kids all want to go outside and play dodgeball with rocks.
Perfect.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that's a lot. I had found a couple things that were like, there was like, oh, I had found a couple things that were like 12 days of redneck Christmas and stuff, and they were really funny. But I liked that one because it was, like kids singing a Christmas song parody. And if nobody's seen it, we just did some parodies of Christmas songs over on Zach's channel, The Shakin' Fist. And that was fun. I'm in them, Ember's in them, Dave from Captive Desk, Michael Beverly, and I think that's it. I think that's everybody that's in them. A lot of fun.
Talent.
But that's that one's really funny because I mean, outside of the like cousin stuff and everything, I don't know. Well, I know one person that like slept with his cousin or something in high school. They were like dating, but I don't really know of people doing that. I mean, I know it goes on in Kentucky, and I'm not surprised. But outside of that, a lot of that was kind of true. The old people are all racist, and for fun, instead of snowballs, we threw rocks at each other, or those. We used to get the off the walnut trees when they have the spiky things on them. You know what I'm talking about? Or they're buckeye tree, and throw those things at each other. They hit you, and they'd stick about an inch in your skin, or shoot fireworks at each other. We used to do that a lot too. But I mean, when you live out in a rural area, sometimes you get bored, and there's nothing to do, and you don't have. Most families don't have fancy swimming pools and things like that around here. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's those people that have that. Most of those people don't want anything to do with my kind of people, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
One of them blue people.
Yeah. He don't follow Trump. He's no good. Yeah, one of those kind of people.
Excuse me.
Which hell, when I was cutting grass, and I talked about this the other day with somebody, but when I was cutting grass, I cut grass for a lot of old ladies, because that's a lot of who your clientele is doing that. And around here, one of the first ways that people greet each other is they say, "Well, hi there. What church do you go to?"
Oh,
yeah.
Why the Church of Satan? Where do you go?
Right. And because I'm trying to run a business, I would kind of try to avoid the question a little bit. And I would just be like, yeah, I don't go to church. But that usually followed with, why not? And so I would tell him, I'd be like, yeah, I'm an atheist. I think that the Christian church is kind of silly, and of course they'd tell me how I was going to hell and what a bad person I was. And I would have some of them though that like they'd be like, you can't cut my grass anymore, or they'd tell me to get out of their yard, or call me a Satan worshiper, something like that. But that's them good old country folk for you.
So, Mommy, have a gin and tonic for me, would you?
My mom conveniently told me that we're going to eat out in 30 minutes, and she just pulled up to pick me up. Unfucking believable. You tell your mom to hold her fucking horses, Sue Mommy. I'm busy. Tell her to get in here and watch this shit. You're allowed to lie, Joe. About what? About being an atheist? I ain't gonna lie about that.
I don't know. I would probably be too chicken to stir up those kind of bees. It
Well,
just sounds like trouble.
one of the things I learned from, and honestly, from being locked up and being around the drug crowd and some of those, people like that, drug dealers and users and people with nothing to lose. One of the things that I learned is that most people are all bark and no bite. Um, and those that are serious, that are like seriously scary people, you can usually tell pretty quickly. Like I feel like I can read people pretty well. Sometimes I'm wrong, and I've had people like, I mean, I got jumped in jail over, fighting with a preacher in there, arguing with a preacher about stuff, which I wasn't trying to do. He's the one that did it, but I just didn't. He asked me questions and I gave him the answers. Um, but whatever. I mean, those things are. I don't know. I'm just really open and blunt about things. I feel like I have to be, and not for their sake, but for my own. Like that's how I learned to cope without drugs was to just address everything head on, and to be bluntly honest about things. And the preacher didn't jump me, no, but wouldn't have surprised me. I ended up going to court. I had court 2 days later, and I had a big goose egg on my head right here where I got punched in the head, and both my eyes were black where they hit me in the nose. But I beat the shit out of the boy though, if that makes the story better. Um, I looked worse, but he felt worse. I broke his ribs, but
Ooh, awa.
yeah. Well, I didn't mean to break his ribs. That was just what happened. He jumped up on a picnic table to get away from me, and I grabbed a hold of him and threw him down to the ground and landed on top of him. And I'm not a little fella, so yeah. But anyway, enough of that.
I'm watching the chat here. Some people have some interesting games that they played as kids. Have any of you ever played Mumbly Pegs?
Never heard of it.
Mumbly Pegs was taught to me by some Marine veterans. And
Mumbly
what you
pig.
do, Mumbly Pegs, yeah.
Hmm.
You can play it solo if you want, if you're dumb enough. Um, and, um, and you can play two players, and it's portable. You can play it anywhere, anytime. And what you do is you take your hand and you lay it on the table and spread it out as wide as you can make all the fingers go. And then somebody takes a Bowie knife, and usually starting at the little finger, you put it to the outside of the little finger, then you lift it up and slam it down between the little and ring finger. Pick it up again, put it between the fucker finger and the ring finger, pull it up again, and then smack it down in between the index finger and the fucker finger, and then you do a thumb, and then you go back. Okay, and you keep doing it. It keeps picking up speed, and you go as fast as you possibly can doing that until you don't hit the table. And it can hurt, and it can be bloody.
Yeah. See, I didn't know what that was called, but I've done that. Let me see if I put a thing in my chat bot for you. So it should pop up with your information when I type your name. Pinworm sent in a $2 super chat. Happy this time of year for everyone. Thank you so much, Pinworm. You're great. You're very generous. You're always sending in super chats and stuff. I hope you're having a great holiday too, Pinworm. There it is. It did pop up and give your Bluesky. There it is. That way, there's a link to Jenni's Bluesky. Go follow her. Yeah, Jenny, we used to get to talk a lot more often, and just so much happened, and then busy, and we just kind of fell away from each other for a while, and I'm glad I get to spend Christmas talking to you though. You you have a unique way of putting a smile on my face, and so I'm glad you came and hung out with me.
Well, I'm happy to be here for you. I really believe in this effort of having a place for lonely folks to go,
I do
uh,
too.
and to be able to do it with you, that's great. I think you're kind of funny, and you're one of the few people that live in Kentucky that I can actually talk to and understand back.
Well, there's that. We've Kentucky's a weird place. It's one of the most beautiful places that I've seen. I've not been a lot of places. I've never seen the ocean. I've never flew on an airplane. I did fly on one of those little ultralight things up high enough that it was too cold to be up there. But um, I've never been a lot of places and stuff. But Kentucky is quite beautiful. It's beautiful sunsets, and even when a storm rolls in, it's quite a beautiful place. But that being said, the people are not always that great, and it's getting better. And I think that the more that people stand up to those people when they act like fools, and let everyone know they're acting like a fool, it it helps, and helps it get better. And so I like, that's why a lot of the stuff, like I talk about Kentucky in a self-deprecating way, and all that, because it's you got to be able to laugh at it. Like, if I took everything serious that happens around here, I live among like 90% young Earth creationists. Um, if I took everything serious, it would drive me nuts. So I have to be able to joke and laugh about things, and I hope that you know I know I'm not incredibly funny, but I like to think that every now and then I have a bit of wit, and um, I hope people enjoy it. And again, like I know that this can be a tough time of year. I mean, I think back about Christmas being, we used to go to my grandmother's on Christmas Eve every year, and since she passed away, we don't do any of that. My family doesn't get together at all. Not that that would really be a great thing anyway, but the I have fond memories of Christmas, uh, but at the same time, through my experience, and from what I've learned and stuff, I know how tough this time of year can be, and I know what feeling lonely is like, and so I'm like you said, I'm super glad that we do this every year, and I think it's I talk a lot about how the atheist community is, for the most part, at least the people that I talk to, um, are just such kind people who look out for each other when they can, and really try to help each other, and be good to each other. And I think that this, that I don't have to just say it. This is a demonstration of that. You've got people for 48 hours that drop everything, and yeah, I'll come stream on Christmas when everything's going on and stuff, so that people have a place to go hang out with others. And that's awesome, guys. Thank you
I
to everybody that's doing it.
I mostly do it for the holiday shift differential.
Yeah, yeah. You get holiday pay. I'll have to.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'll
don't know
have
if George Soros likes it, but he
uh,
made the deal.
Pinworm super chatted $2. I owe you three, right? the of all the places I worked, not one place ever paid me holiday pay, and I worked every fucking holiday if they were open. Uh,
I
I
worked
never
at a Catholic.
ever got
I,
paid
I
holiday.
I worked at a Catholic hospital, and they didn't give you holiday pay.
Yeah, people would say, "Oh, it's Christmas, we get holiday pay," and I'd laugh at them and say, "Yeah, I fucking it's on the roof, go get it."
Well, that's the nature of Trump's campaign promises, that people wouldn't have to pay any more tax on overtime.
Yeah,
Um,
because there'll be no more overtime.
that's right, because they're discontinuing the concept.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
8 hours, and none of those damn breaks either. Fuck you.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what they're doing with the no taxing tips.
Yeah.
It's because you're not going to get any tips.
I mean, do you know, like I waited tables for years and years. And as far as tax on, they never like, sure, there was tax on my tips and that they just took my $2 an hour check though. Like it wasn't, it didn't affect how much money I made. And so, uh, that's just, I think that, and not to get into too much political stuff, but I think much like religion, they say things that they think sounds good, but really, how effective are they? How effective are they? It's kind of like when there's a shooting and they say thoughts and prayers. It's like, how effective really are those things? And sure, I mean, you shouldn't tax people's tips when you're only paying them $2 an hour. I agree with that. But what's up, Answer Man? Answer Man. Answer Man's the one I told you that was kind of newer to the community that'll be joining me here on January the 5th, Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Grateful to Know God's broadcast. And we'll be streaming here and over on his channel. But everybody say hi to Answer Man and go check out his content. We talked about being funny and stuff. Incredibly funny person. And I have to give a big shout out to Ember for helping to
Amber.
contact with that person. Ember! But I can't wait. Well, me and Answer Man, we sat down in a studio, not on air, not recorded, and sat and talked for like 5 hours yesterday. And I really like what he does, and I think we understand each other, and I think that everybody will love to get to know him and his content, and so go check it out. I don't have a link for you, or I would drop it, but PC's all over it, already in there. But yeah, aren't you? You're popular over on the TikToks, aren't you, Jenny?
Oh no, I wouldn't go that far. Not at all. I'm just another person on TikTok. I mean,
How
there's
many followers you have?
11, 1200, something like that
Holy shit, I've got like 150. I
on
have,
TikTok.
yeah, and I think
Well,
my videos are cool.
you want more people following you, both positive and negative. Just jump on into any of the lives that are dealing with trans issues, and you'll meet lots of people. Many of
Yeah.
them wanting to kill you.
Well, I mean, I get that here every now and then.
Oh, excuse
I'm
me,
not.
I can't use that word. They'll unalive you. See,
Well,
because you're not allowed to say things like death, die, um, and
yeah.
those sorts
Well,
of
I mean,
things.
they demonetize my streams, but they do that all the time anyway. So whatever. Uh, about 1 out of 4 is able to be monetized. Forever, we played copyright music on here that was throwing up a flag every time, and they wouldn't let me monetize, and I just said hell with it and kept playing it for months because I wasn't getting any money from them anyway. Fuck it. But yeah, I hate how I've got a box in front of my face here. Can we do without that? Can we? Can I kill that? I can't, can I? Nope. It has to be there. Can I make it smaller? It didn't do anything. Wow. Never mind. Um, but yeah. You know, Jess makes a lot of the like that intro video we watched. Jess made that and makes a lot of the graphics and stuff that I show on the channel and helps out tremendously. She's not around. She's out of town with family this week and no internet. And um, but she a lot of the videos on my TikTok, I mean, some of it's clips and stuff from the channel, of course, but she made a lot of really cool videos about Noah's Ark and stuff like that I put over there that are really, really well made. The My Facebook, I started posting reels on Facebook too, and I've got like 600 followers on there. I need 1,000 before I can live stream there. I can actually live stream to TikTok even though I don't have 1,000, but only for like this month or something.
Yeah, because it's going to be shut down on January 19th.
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not. TikTok would be cool to stream on, but I'm not really. I mean, this. I was gonna stream this to Instagram and didn't, but I just I like to put it out there. Like it's on Twitch, and you see like we've got 41 people watching in YouTube, but only one over on Twitch. But I don't really keep up my Twitch channel and stuff like I should. And I don't have any gaming content on it, which would change things tremendously. But I've been waiting to get a capture card in for my Switch. But YouTube's really primarily where it's at. I really put it other places just to try and drive people to the YouTube channel. So, that's is what it is. Let's see if I can get me out from behind the thing here. Stay. That's better.
I don't play any games well enough that I want to let anybody else watch. That would be embarrassing.
What kind of? You don't play any games good enough? Video games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's for me, it'll be like I'm gonna play games and like bullshit around while I do it, tell stories, whatever, like the video game playing. Yeah, I can do like some cool glitches and do some cool stuff in some old retro games and stuff, but it's not, like I'm not really I like to sit around and play a video game every now and then, like whenever, especially if I got things on my mind. But I'm not really that great either. I don't like first person shooters like Call of Duty or that stuff. I like the Zelda games and the nostalgia tickling games. Do it for me, but oh, I'm sorry. That one person over on Twitch is Regios. Regios watches on Twitch quite often. Thank you, Regios. I need to come over there and make you a mod so you can make sure that everybody ain't acting up over there.
Power.
There's more coming to Twitch eventually, I promise. A little bit at a time. I just upgraded my computer with a solid state drive. It did have a shitty, slow moving physical hard drive in it, and I just upgraded to a solid state drive. Can you answer? Yes, I can, but what would be the answer to the answer me? Oh, I thought you were asking me a question. There is a thing of just being while playing games, that like stream. Yeah, just BSing. Yeah. That's kind of the idea is people who like to hang out and just talk, shoot the shit with me will be able to go there and do that while I play games and stuff. And then if people want to watch the gameplay, they can. And I know that there's a lot of you here, especially that are members on my channel, that we do the member stream thing and we hang out and just talk. And I think a lot of people like my channel because of that, because of some of the stories and the, I'm very open and honest about those things. Twitch is a way better place for being a live streamer, but it's again, it's mostly centered around gaming. I mean, there's other channels on there, and I think with Twitch, I think it's more about luck than anything. And with the atheist community being kind of a niche area of content creators anyway, and then there's all these like other little cliques and stuff within that. I think that it's hard to really get anything going on Twitch. But I used to have a Twitch channel before I started making atheist content, or started the Kentucky Atheist channel. I had a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel that only had shorts of me doing like glitches in video games and stuff. Like I did a speed run of Mario 64 and showed people how to backwards jump through doors and stuff like that on it. And but I did that for a little while first. It didn't do very well at all. But it's fun, and again, I used to make my videos used to be kind of like the last one I did about standing for truth, which I got really good feedback about and everybody seemed to like. But they used to be all like that, where I just addressed some topic or talked about it from my perspective, and that's what got me to a bunch of subscribers so that I could start live streaming and stuff. And once I started live streaming, though, that's whenever I met most of you wonderful people out there, and we got to know each other and a lot about each other, and talked about different things, and learned a lot of things about different people and different groups. And it has been honestly, like, this whole like YouTube streaming thing has been a really great time for me. It's been there's been ups and downs, don't get me wrong, but it's been a really awesome experience being part of this community. And so whenever I hear about this kind of thing, this marathon stream going on, like, Purple told me, she's like, "Oh, thanks for doing this and being flexible and this and that." And I was like, no, thank you for including me. Like, I'm honored to be able to come and make content for you guys. And I know my stuff is sometimes disjointed and rambling here and there and whatever, but thank you for supporting it nonetheless.
Most social media is just a giant cesspool for people to express hate. Most is what I think.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. That's why I left Twitter.
Yeah.
And
Bluesky seems to be trying to avoid that, and from what I understand, has been very willing to toss up maggots.
Yeah, they Blue Sky is a. I mean, you're gonna have bad actors in any social group, right? I mean, there's people within our own social group here who do questionable and say questionable things and whatever, but so there's gonna be that, but and especially on a social media site, you're gonna have the extremists of all different types. But Blue Sky does seem to be a much better place with less Nazis, I guess, would be a proper word.
I just wish they would bring in the group direct mail chat.
Yeah, well, I think with as many people that are into Blue Sky, they've probably worked on some updates that are coming up soon, and I expect them to expand and do a lot more over there. I think that Blue Sky didn't expect to get the reception that they did, and they were in the right place at the right time with everything. But it's you never see me on Blue Sky. I'm on there. I post stuff sometimes, Stephanie. I'm not. Whenever I have time to be active on social media, I'm usually here, either on my channel or Dave's channel, or somewhere, doing this. So and when I'm not doing this, like, sometimes I have to sit back and decompress a little bit. I deal with depression and some other stuff, and so sometimes I have to take a minute and chill myself back out and reassess things. And that's it is what it is. But so yeah, people that follow me on social media, I post stuff, but I'm not really there often. That I do it for the channel to try and help grow this community and bring new people into this community. And that's whenever I think that, and this is something that Corky said that was making videos about me. He said the Kentucky Atheist does this as a job, or does this for money. And that I laughed when he said it, actually, because like last month I didn't even get paid from YouTube. I didn't make enough. But even so, like, even if I was making however much, I mean, pick a number, that's not why I do this at all. That has no part of it. Like, having memberships and stuff on here is great, because the members content, we get to be a little more open and get to know each other. And I always open it up to anyone that wants to come talk. And it's all about talking and interacting with you guys. So whenever I do things, promote things, and push things, it's only to try and grow. Growing my channel here and in other places lets me talk to more people and helps me to help us build a bigger and better community, a more inclusive, bigger place. Answer Man that's in the chat there, Ember is responsible for discovering Answer Man, but I'm so happy to be able to talk to him and bring him to you guys. That's really that's what drives it. So it's there's a lot of work that goes on in the background, though. Like, I people look at my channel that have smaller channels or whatever, and like, how did you get that many subscribers? How is your channel doing good and mine isn't, and things like that. And it's like, I do a lot, and some of it's just luck, and some of it's just people that like my accent. Like, it's it's, but I don't care. I mean, like, I care about reaching people, not about, I know I'm not going to become a famous YouTuber doing this. Like, I'm not looking for fame and fortune being an atheist. Big atheism, one of the things, like last year, that the Ark Encounter protest didn't take place because I found out that the people weren't doing it, like, literally weeks before, and was going to try and scramble and put it together, and I decided not to, because if I do it, I wanted to do it right. This year, I've got like 1,000 more subscribers, and I've made contacts within our community with people like Elliot over at Secular Rarity. Excuse me, my throat's dry. I've made a lot of new friends and stuff to help me do those things, and resources that I can use to actually be an activist and actually try to do things to put people in action to make the world a better place. Like, anything. Oh yeah, Robin's spell. I did forget Robin. Robin's spell on Halloween's responsible for most of it. Don't forget that. But the Ark Encounter protest, and it'll be July 6th, and I'm organizing that now. I've contacted a couple of different 501(c)(3)s that are going to help out, and I've got all the resources and stuff to actually host the thing there, a house for us to have a party in afterwards. I've secured the things to do it because of the connections and the things that I've built here in this channel. So when I do those things, it's so I can do more things like that. Like, it's if I could host a atheist convention once a month, I would. Like, I would spend all my time working on that and do it. But well, this Ark Encounter thing is going to be a big deal, and it's gonna be big. It's going to be I look for it to be the biggest protest that's been there since it opened. That's my goal, and I will. So here in the future, when you see me pushing stuff about the Ark Encounter, and we'll be doing like a GoFundMe to help pay to fly people in to speak at it and stuff. Uh, Things like that. Like whenever you see me promoting those things, it's not because I'm trying to be famous or anything like that. It's because I'm trying to provide a place for this community to be and to do the thing that we want to do, and to speak out against the horrible things that we see in the name of religion. The Ark Encounter being one of them. Answer Man is 5 subs away from 1,000. Go sub, you guys. Get him over 1,000 while this stream's going. Please help me. Do that for me.
What's it worth to you?
I don't know. What do you want?
20 bucks.
I ain't got $20.
Fine.
I've got $5.38 to my name.
That's about all I got to last me till George Soros's check comes in.
Yeah, till I get that big atheist money. I can send you a dick pic if you want.
Stephanie, who's an atheist wants to have you morally mandated out of existence, which is probably very effective.
Who wants you? Oh, Pine Nuts. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Pine Creek. He's a fucking douchebag. Doug. He's like if Jim Bob was an atheist. And I've learned a lot about his I want to say journey, but the events leading up to Doug being who he is today, and the how he used to not really be that bad, and he kind of got on some of these kicks, especially on trans issues and stuff, and just became quite the piece of shit. And don't be confused, folks. Just because someone calls themselves an atheist doesn't mean that they're automatically as good as the people that you may meet in this room today. There's quite a few shitty ones out there too. And keep in mind that being an atheist in the atheist community means that we only agree on one thing, that we don't think a God exists, in however you want to word that. I know everybody's picky about that, but there's groups like Atheists for Liberty out there that promote Christian nationalism left and right. So go figure,
well, that's because Christian nationalism has nothing to do with Christianity. It's all used as a play to snatch power.
I don't think Christianity has much to do with Christianity these days.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah, skeptically pissed. I like that. Let me put that on screen. I think most atheists are trying to live as closely as possible to the objective reality we share and try to teach critical thinking skills. Yeah. Critical thinking. That's really the thing, right? Because I think whenever you talk about like faith and religion, the main piece of that isn't just believing in something. Or the dogma and doctrine and all that. It's holding that unquestioned belief, not questioning it. Faith means that you don't question that. You, in the face of evidence, you still believe it's true. And I think that many of us were able to, for whatever reason, stop doing that, and we, because of whatever events happened, or maybe you were just born that way, whatever, like you do want to take a critical look at the things in your life and the things that you hold closest to you. And religion is one of those things that I mean, it requires you to view everything in the world that way. It is actually a worldview. You What we see as reality for a believer is just this plane of existence before you go to the good or the bad place, you know. And what we do here is really inconsequential because we get to spend an eternity kissing Jesus's ass, you know. Um,
He
the
likes it that way.
And that's really I mean, I see the hope part of it where they're like, oh, I'm going to the better place to be with my family and my dog Skippy, you know, like I see that and understand why that would be alluring to people. But at the same time, I don't know how in this age of information with everything at your fingertips that you stop yourself from taking a critical look at those things. And I know we don't choose what we believe. It's you're either convinced something's true or not. But it's I don't know. I don't find myself capable of not being skeptical about things. Even if you tell me oh, so and so said this on a stream, I'll say, well, give me the link so I can go check that out, because I need that verification of claims made, you know. And that's how I became an atheist, because once something tickled that part of my brain that I wanted to understand why this was that way, I started looking, and because I wanted to be a better Christian, and I found that it was all bullshit. And rather than lie to myself about that or pretend to be something I wasn't, you know, I had to admit that that was the case. And once I admitted that, I discovered people like Christopher Hitchens and stuff that were speaking out against the most harmful idea that man ever had, which is religion. And it did something. There's a whenever somebody really speaks or debates or does a really good job talking about the truth, the reality of this subject, it's like butterflies in my stomach, like I'm in love. Um, there's a feeling that it provokes, and it I want to go tell everyone, you know, I want to go talk. You know, and I'm sure many atheists have felt this way about, like, whenever you first start learning these things, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go convince my family that they're full of shit, and you find out real quick that that's not how any of this works. But it drove me to that, and I wanted to sit and learn as much. Sit and learn, holy shit! I wanted to sit and learn as much as I could, to be able to talk to people. And here I am. As soon as I lost my job and had free time to do it, this is what I wanted to do, is talk about these things. And but then as I did it, you know, I came in and wanted to debate people, because again, I thought, I want to tell everyone, I want to go argue with them and tell them how they're wrong. But I realized that that's not really the point of any of it. And that's not what it's about. That's not, I mean, sure it is for some people, and that's cool, I get it. But like, for me, it's not. I just, things became, the world became much smaller with technology, but with discovery, it became larger again in some aspects. So I think we all need to revisit the "my family is full of it" angle. I think this is our biggest failure as a community. I'd be happy to discuss. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to come on if you want, Jay. I'm not. Anybody's welcome to. I don't. We're on till 4 o'clock, and we hand over to somebody. It's on the tip of my tongue. State. Who do I hand over to?
I don't know. I'll go check.
Yeah. Okay. I think it has to be, you said it, the most dangerous idea man has ever come up with. We got to stop making excuses and allow our loved ones to participate in this. Yeah, and I feel that way too, Jay. And I try to look for the best ways to effectively do that. Right? It's not enough that you just want to say, "Oh, you're full of shit." Just like the thing with like the Ark Encounter protest. Yeah, we can shit on young Earth creationists, but it's not enough for me to go down there and just shit on young Earth creationists. There has to be a call to action, and that has to, deep state annex. That's it. It has to be thought out and planned in a way that to be effective. Yelling and screaming with my arms in the air doesn't reach the number of people that it should, and so I look for ways to be more effective, and that's why I want to do those things. That's why I don't want to just talk about it. I want to do these things. I want to do whatever it is I have to do to first of all normalize the atheist community, and at the same time speak up for the ideals of humanism, which all people are people and should be treated as such. Like and my reach is small, and my channel isn't I mean, it don't get me wrong, I'm so amazed at how big this channel is currently, but it's not huge. But I do what I can with what I got to do it with. I show up, and sometimes I fall asleep, and sometimes I don't make any sense, but I'm trying. I'm trying. And Deep State Annex is up next. Yeah. Yeah. I tried to redirect, but I guess you'll have to let the playlist take you there, because they don't allow redirects, and I tried to contact them and nobody answered. So you let the playlist take you there at the end. The playlist is pinned in the comments. If you're watching this just from the YouTube channel and not in the playlist, click and go in the playlist and watch it. That way it'll take you to the next video. Does it only take mentioning you twice to summon Deep State Annex? Is Deep State Annex here? Hey, if you go in your community settings and allow me to redirect those that aren't watching through the thing, I'll redirect them there for you. Deep State Annex. Send a link for Steph. I got you, Steph. Hold on. I didn't want to put it on stage or in the chat, because people misuse it when I do that, and I know that there's a lot of people watching today, and I just didn't want any mishaps to take place more than the ones that I do on my own anyway. But yeah, if you fix that, I'll redirect to you at the end. But Jay, I'll tell you what, Jay. Here, I'm just gonna post it in the chat, and I'll delete it here in a minute. There's the link for anybody that wants to join. Wait, did I put the right one? Yeah, that's it. That's the link if you want to come join us. We're already through the first hour, so for the last hour, anybody in the community that wants to come talk about whatever you want to talk about, I'm open to it. Provided it, I don't want to get too controversial or worked up here on Christmas. I want people to feel comfortable here, so I'm not gonna get into a yelling and screaming thing with anybody. So maybe I should just put it that way. That link is for my friends, and if you're not my friend, maybe you should kick rocks.
Well, considering that you're from Kentucky, which is a whole lot closer to Florida than I am, so I figure you know a little bit more about Florida than I do, having to be almost a neighbor. I saw something that Florida Man was up to. God bless Florida Man. What a great source of material.
No doubt.
Florida Man was arrested for boy, it was tough. Raping alligators.
I think I've seen that. Like he like wrestled down an alligator and did things to it.
I just wonder if that was a sport down there.
Yeah.
I mean, up here we have chicken fighting, and it happens in people's basements. But
Hey,
down there, I figured you had something else that you did. That's all.
PC, are you still here? Okay, well, never mind, PC. I got it. Don't worry about it. Um, uh, let me do this. You can keep talking if you want, Jenny. Jenny, sorry, I interrupted your
Oh no, no, no. That's
sexual
that's
assault
fine.
on alligators.
Whatever you got to do, I am yours today.
Okay, I'm going into the settings and setting up the redirect so to make sure that everybody gets to the right place at the end. Because I've been watching these channels. I started on Purple's channel this morning watching, and um, the crowd size that is here now has pretty much been about that size all morning, and I think that is just fucking awesome. So I want to make sure that anything I can do to maintain that for the next person that I do. And let's
Uh,
see.
How many people are in the group, the audience?
Uh, there was 40 watching on YouTube just a minute ago, and
Oh,
Reggio's over at Twitch, which is not 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 the biggest crowd I've had, but is quite respectable. All right, it's set up. It's redirecting to you now, Deep State Annex. Okay, I wanted to make sure that everybody got there. All right, hold on. I'll put you on stage. Happy
Ember.
holidays, folks.
Hello, hello. Am I actually connecting this time? I've been having the same trouble with EV Monks that Stephanie's been having with StreamYard.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Good to see y'all. Happy pre-Christmas.
Hey,
Echo.
Yeah.
hey, Ember.
Hello. How you doing, Jay?
I'm all right. I'm all right. You're cheery, and I called in to talk about not cheery, so I feel bad.
It's all good. We can do that too.
Jenny, did you say you're getting an echo? Is it from me?
I
No,
think it picked
from
up.
Ember, but it's gone now.
Okay. But yeah, happy holidays, and I love y'all. Y'all are all important. Jenny, I say I probably interact with you the least, but I still feel like I interact with you quite a bit, and I know you, and I love your voice and appreciate you. And Joe and Ember are two of my buddies.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
So yeah, I just want to explain what I said. And I'm in a really weird place. And some of what I'm saying is probably going to be news to people in the community, even people that know me. But I've been really going through it this year. And I don't know what it is. It's like all the everything. I moved back home from Michigan and New Jersey to take a job as a professor. It's at a Catholic university, so having to be on a Catholic campus and really like see the reality of what the Catholic Church does when it runs a university, it's like way scarier and far beyond what I imagined. And I stay for my students and quite frankly for the paid subversion, but it's like really taxing on me. And then like I think the election did something like that was like a real thing. Like that was a real, like COVID and so many other things, that was a real moment in time, moment in history. We're going to go this way or we're going to go that way. The consequences are severe and there's no do-overs. And that was just terrible. And then the response, I think, has made me feel even worse about everything because I feel like we've just been lying to ourselves about what happened. And then like I went home for Thanksgiving, and I was planning to like stay with my family for a few days. And like the people in my family, I guess they know I'm not a believer or whatever. And normally my mom, like if I visit my mom, she'll keep things away from me. Like, I won't have a lot of weird Jesus stuff where I'm staying, and she like won't do things like say grace or whatever. And I know those things sound trivial to people, but like I appreciate that. But at Thanksgiving, it felt like I was outnumbered, and it's really Thanksgiving. And so, I was talking about Jesus, and even one of my two of my cousins like didn't vote, which was like horrifying. I was like wanted to disown them on the spot. But that was like part of their thing. I was like, oh, I vote, I'm with Jesus, and and like that was supposed to make it all okay. And then like the grace, and everybody bowing their head and being so thankful. And it hit me like I was in that moment, like fully unfiltered, like my family is worshiping the monster, the thing that murdered literally everything alive and came up with this sick. They're like all into it, and this is what the songs are about. And I was like, I can't do this. And I made it through dinner and stuff, but I didn't stay the maybe 3 or 4 days I probably would have. Instead, I was there the night before, and after dinner, it was like, oh, the weather looks fine, I'm gonna go home, because I just wanted to get out of there. And so what might come as a surprise for people, and I've kind of done this before, but like I've been really like desperate about my channel, like trying to figure out what to do, because like the things I normally do, I like can't even bring myself to do. I'm really grateful to my one black friend for like having Hot Program, because I have to do a show every week. And sometimes even if I think something is like silly or dumb, or I really don't want to talk about this, it's like, we have a show to do, so we're going to do a show, right? It's like, yes, we are. It's like, but really, like, I want to change my direction to like actually talking about at least my struggle, to actually deal with my family, to talk to my family about this issue, and to change the course of my family's direction, like somehow. And so it's so interesting, because I've been part of one of the hosts for this marathon the last couple years, and I always appreciate Purple including me, and it's a great time to celebrate the community. But I am one of the people this is meant for. I am one of those people that feels alienated and alone, and this time of year is terrifying, and I can't relate to my family members, and it's awful. And so like I'm not going home today. Like normally I would probably have gone like home. I probably would have gone home to visit my mom like yesterday. And you got to remember, it's important. Like this is literally my first year home. And I took a job after all those years being in a different part of the country, like for over a decade, and going through grad school and going through my postdoc. I actually took a permanent job in New Jersey so I could be home and be close to my family. And my first holiday at home, hey, Jay, great to have you back home. You're going to come home for Christmas? No, I can't. I literally can't. I cannot bring myself to go home and watch my family celebrate lies, to watch them celebrate evil, to see the people who inspired me to be a strong, cognizant Black man participate in the most white supremacist thing I can imagine, and just bury it all so they can be comfortable with all of this, I years and years ago I said to myself, the problem with my family is Jesus is more important than Jason. So it's always been that way. And it's terrifying. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm not going home for Christmas. I'm not going home tomorrow, but I am going to go visit my mom the day after Christmas. And I'm going to ask her and her husband to sit down with me, and I'm going to talk about why I didn't come home for Christmas. And we're going to have and I'm terrified.
Uh-oh.
We're losing you, Jay.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
All right, so I also
you
have
are.
EV Mux issues, and it always happens like right in the middle of a conversation. But yeah, I'm really terrified. I thought I had a shrink appointment today. I was gonna try to talk to my psychiatrist, but this is a real situation for me, and so I'm in a place where I think we do need to talk to our families, because number one, these are the people that we actually have some chance with. We're not going to change the minds of any of these apologists and professional liars anytime soon.
You're right.
And we're about as hopeless with most of their fans and sycophants. A lot of this is incredibly performative, and it's like people are already firmly in one camp or the other. And I do think the content that we make is important for people. I think it's important to build community. I think it's important to learn and like work your way through, right? Like once you no longer believe, you have to like work your way through all of that stuff that's been put on you. And this is the great way to do that. But you're sort of already on playing for the right team by the time you find myth vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, way before that. By the time you find myth vision, you're kind of already there. I mean, it's I think that it's a I don't know. I think that people find their way step by step and bit by bit, and it's and drip by drip.
Let
But
me
here's the
set
thing. I agree with this, and I think that's a big part of it for me. I think that's true once you're on the active deconstructing process. Once you're really at a place where that belief has been challenged or shaken. But I think the number one killer of what we're trying to do in this community is the inertia on our side versus the activism on their side. Black Atheist Rants, Bar, who you guys should definitely subscribe to if you're not, puts this so well. They are not going to stop. They are not ever, ever, ever going to stop. They are committed to doing this and being this way for the rest of their lives. And it's all about spreading it. They're commanded to spread it. They believe they need to spread it. If you meet a Christian who tells you they're not evangelical, sorry, it's not a no true Scotsman fallacy. You are not talking to a serious Christian, because
even and Jay, that you're absolutely right there, because even the blandest, white bread Christian, it's all about, what does evangel mean? It means the good news. It means the gospel. And you are spreading the good news of a fucking lie.
Stephanie and Dr. J, I'm afraid you two did not get the memo. There's been a change. There's been a change in our language, our terminology, and they're no longer known as evangelicals. A new name was selected based on their current obsession. that seems most apparent in political advertising and their behavior on social media and stuff. We are now
Yeah.
calling them evangelicals
Oh yeah,
Mm,
there we
because
go.
that's what they're
That's
interested in. They want to know what's in your pants.
absolutely.
yeah.
And that's
There. It's
horrifying.
well, and that's great because it really kind of ties into the season because now we're talking about jingle bells, you know, which is cool.
Ah,
I
except for
like
them, it's
I
jingle balls.
oh,
Steph, I think you're off camera,
all the
Steph.
way. I know I'm off
Oh,
camera.
Um,
okay. You
let
we
me,
I was gonna say we can hear the jingle bells. I'm sure we could see him, but maybe she didn't want us
Jay,
to.
let me address
But
something
yeah,
you said
go ahead.
real quick. The first of all, thank you for sharing that,
Yeah, that was
and
a lot.
yeah, and we love you, and I know that I think many of us probably feel that same thing that you're talking about, maybe in different uh, gradients, I guess, but
Mhm.
I
the
appreciate that.
that disconnect where it's like the people you care about are how do you actively make them not be active and fucking up the other people you care about, like it, it it gets into this whole big tangled mess, and how do you sit down and have those conversations, and um, then when you look at what we do on YouTube, and I talk about this a lot, like um, arguing science are the same points with some apologists that they've been arguing these points for 1,000 years, and all I'm going to do is a lesser quality version of it than Aaron Ra has done 5 times. Like, what is the fucking point? And after the election and all that stuff happened, like it was like a hit to the side of the head. Like, what am I doing? And it made it hard to have conversations with people because everything that would come up, the first thing I wanted to say is, yeah, but like you support this guy that wants to fucking kill people and stuff. Like you're part of the Nazi program. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So I feel you on that, and I appreciate you sharing, and that's why this is here. So there are people to hang out with and talk to while you're dealing with this, and I really appreciate you coming and sharing that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, for me, I think a lot of us, to be honest, I think we're over prepared and it's killing us. Um, like it's one of those things where I think so I actually went to undergrad to become a dating coach. Terrible life decision. But eventually led me to studying evolution, so I guess it worked out. But I do remember analysis paralysis, right? You guys have all heard that probably before, right? And I do think that that's an absolute real phenomenon. Even something like when you're shopping, right, and you just overwhelmed, too many choices, right? Um, and I think that's very much the issue with this. And it's great to learn a little bit of something about a situation where you might be interested in someone. Um,
Oh, it's fun to have those conversations.
I'm so
I'll
used
add
to I'm
here to
so
say
used to
that.
this. I just see the little lost disconnection and I pause and I just wait and it comes back. And I'm
Mhm.
like, but
I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. I have, it's who knows what these things are.
Yeah.
So that's helpful, right? You have a couple of tools, maybe increases your confidence and or gives you an approach to just help you have something to say. But it's really no good if you have to learn so much about what to do, or you find yourself in the situation and you have so many different things you might say that in fact you say nothing and you don't approach at all. Now it's just a waste. It's not helping you. It's like literally preventing you from doing what you wanted to do. And that's how a lot of times I feel with my content and the content and the channels on the community, because I'm constantly in my head fantasizing about the real conversations I know I need to have, which is with the people in my life. Um, but I'm like too anxious or afraid to have them. So instead, I just watch more content, have more conversations in the community, and it's like, well, at what point am I going to do the thing I've been practicing for? Or else, like, like, you know, at least for me, like that gets to a point, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I'm being constructive and actually combating the influence of this religion in my life and in my family and in my people. And maybe I'm giving myself like a false sense of accomplishment for working through it on my own with
No,
the
Jay.
people on the internet.
Let me add a little perspective here. What you're describing sounds very much like what a lot of the rest of us have had to go through, whether it's, you know, red hats being the new brown shirts, or Christians with some pretty hateful ideas, or just being trans. Anytime you're the isolated member of your family, you're the black sheep, if you will, it can be very, very difficult. And you have to make the decision as to whether you're going to set yourself aside to go along and survive the encounter, or just not engage. But please, please, please don't feel like a failure with regards to resolving these issues in your personal life. Remember, Matt Dillahunty, who is arguably one of the greatest debaters on our side, has not managed to deconvert his parents. He talks about it frequently.
Yeah,
It's
he does. I
very, very
appreciate that.
different. Yeah, with the people in our own lives. It's really different.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's
Yeah.
totally different. That's a really good point, Ember. So yeah, I do try to remember that, but I'm at a point where I'm so desperate to do something about it, and a lot of it is just like the things we've gone through. So, for instance, the election for me is a real point where there's a sense in which we can say it's too little too late. I see a lot of people, oh, now I want to have the conversations. Now I want to talk about these things. You know, and it's like, well, why didn't you want to do that before?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and what are you saying now that we should just have the conversation? Which, first of all, I think most of these people are wrong. Like, I think if anybody was actually paying attention, I think the truth is we did way too much trying to meet with these people, trying to compromise with these people, trying to get these people to understand us. It never mattered. It was never going to matter. And rather than realize that we did too much of that, we focused on them too much instead of ourselves. And to correct that, our solution has been, no, we didn't focus on them enough. We didn't. And it's so frustrating because it's like, are you then saying that I just got to hold on again? You know, we really needed to do so. We needed a different outcome, and we didn't get one. And now we're at least under serious duress of the promise of mass deportation, economic disaster, like just, you know, actually having a criminal and a predator reelected. Like, oh, you guys know the list goes on and on. I don't even understand how you can hit me with like, oh, well, sorry, but we're gonna have some real serious conversations about these things now. Like, I don't want to hear that. And then what are you telling me? Like, I just got to tolerate you guys just having these conversations for 4 years and hope that it'll be different next time. And I don't know. I just feel like, again, the inertia on our side and the activity of the other side. For me and my people, I realized last year wasn't their year. This year's not their year. Next year's not going to be their year. If they're working and moving towards truth, they're doing so at such a snail's pace that it's not meaningful. And for most of them, again, I just believe them when they say they're committed to riding this out and believing this the rest of their lives. And so for me, like, they're either perpetrating it, they're either themselves actively spreading the religion and doing the lying and the manipulating, and that's not okay with me, or they're the sucker. They're the naive one. They're the what we would call the true believer, the genuine Christian, the real one, that has the great heart and follows along and makes all the sacrifices.
One thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these people, even though they're true believers, as you said, and actively making things worse, they're also victims of this system. They've been brainlocked into thinking this is the only way forward. We can't reach them until we can break them out of that narrative.
I agree. The challenge for me though is I feel like this is, and I'm probably being hyperbolic when I say only, but it's the main or thing I see where we excuse the abuse because of the victim's own narratives, right? Like I was thinking, like if you have a sister or something like that, you would never see him punching her in the face and then say, well, it's okay to stay with him, he's a great lover, or he's a good youth soccer coach, right? Like he brings this other benefit to you, and so therefore you being his victim is okay. But with religion, we seem to say, I know they're being lied to. Oh, yeah, and I know they're even taking their money and, promising them miracles and faith healing and all this nonsense. But I have to let it go because it's important to them, or it brings them comfort, or it gives them the false sense of hope, meaning, and purpose. And at some point, I feel like, and maybe this is literally me listening to too much Uncle Bobby, but
No such thing.
But I feel like at some point that's on me. That's on me, the person who knows better, is seeing the abuse, and is deciding not to intervene at some level for my own comfort. Because I don't really want to fight that fight today, or have that difficult conversation with mom or whoever it might be. And at some point, that's not the person. I can't accept me being that person.
Well, let me tell you a somewhat hard to tell story that has some significant parallels here. When I was in elementary school, there was a little girl who rode my bus, and to put the very difficult and potentially triggering part as briefly as possible, she abused me every day for 2 years. And as an adult, I started to come to terms with that. I went through therapy and started to heal and overcome. And eventually I reached that point that you're talking about now, where you have to talk to the person and say, hey, this is what you've done that hurt me. And I tracked her down because I still have my repo agent skills and I can find missing people fairly well. And I talked to her about it, and she explained, not excused, but explained that the reason she behaved in the way she did was because that was what her dad was doing to her, and she thought that was how people showed affection. So she really hurt me for a long time, but it wasn't her fault per se, you know?
Yeah, I just think, and I see even like in the chat, like I get a lot of people saying, these things take time. I understand the process on their side. I'm dealing with the accountability on my side. Like, I think we have a role to play in helping people. Like what I hear you say in that story is breaking the cycle, right? Like going to that person and saying like, hey, this was wrong, and then they can evaluate, I was taught wrong, and then they can apologize, and you can forgive, you can understand. But what we shouldn't do is not do that and then let them teach a child or teach somebody, after you would have had that. Had you not had that conversation, who knows if they would have kept doing that, or right? And like, that's like, I see this in my family. It's like, I don't have kids, but the same way, like as I became a young adult, I noticed, when I started to deconvert, I noticed that they were still like bringing up my child cousins in it, right? And that started to bother me when I first deconverted, right? Well, that's continued, and now many of them are like much older and much deeper in their indoctrination. And now my cousins that are my age, they now have children that are being indoctrinated as they're, becoming of sound mind and stuff. And so there's nobody who's really trying to break that cycle. And the truth is, when I really think about it, I'm the only person who can. And I think this is something that scares me, that I think a lot of us in our community are afraid to think about, because I do think that's what a lot of this comes down to. I think a lot of it comes down to our own insecurity about how to have these conversations. First off, not understanding that it's like parenting. You can write books on it all day long, but at the end of the day, you're just going to have to do it. And you might not be that great about it, but it's not your job necessarily to be perfect. It's your job to be you and be honest and be right. There's a certain point at which, when you start to over prepare for a conversation with someone, in a sense, you're trying to study how to manipulate them. How do I have the conversation in the perfect way so that I don't damage this relationship? No, I'm supposed to be in relationship with you. I'm supposed to be able to come to you with what I need, what I feel, what I'm experiencing, what I'm going through, and you be able to feel and understand my pain and hear me, in spite of the fact that I didn't get a speechwriter to sit down and tell me what to say to you. But for some reason, we hold ourselves to that standard. And I think it's because there's so much anxiety there. We know that like there's just so much that we're afraid of in those conversations. But when I think about it, who else is in these people's lives that knows enough, like we know, to really be a resource for them, and has the other crucial aspect of caring about this? In other words, my mom or a family member, they might have a coworker that's thinks like we do and is a strong non-believer or whatever, but as a coworker, they're like, yeah, I see him around the office and a couple times a year at the holiday party. I don't really give a shit, right? If they what they believe or don't believe. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse on your channel. But
Oh no, not cursing here.
I don't know. You never know. You never know people's channel. But you know what I'm saying? Like we are such a tremendous resource. Like, who better? Like, if PC is in your family, sorry to probably put you out there, PC, but if PC is in your family, who better would you have as a resource to say, oh my goodness, PC, I'm deconstructing, and I just watched a Christian video about objective morality. Do you have anything you know what I'm saying? Like, I realized a long time ago that like we're good at this, and we've got a lot of practice and experience in this community, and we can really be a resource to people who are going through this.
Right.
But we have to put ourselves out there so that they know they can come to us. Go ahead, Amber.
Just as an educator yourself, you can't teach someone who isn't interested in the subject. Like,
True.
if somebody comes to us with questions, what about this thing? Or, if they're starting to deconstruct and they have questions about the Bible or whatever, but it's very, very difficult to start to trigger that deconstruction by confrontation. That said, I think you're absolutely correct about needing to say something, because in relating it back to my story, what I really needed, and what she really needed too, was someone to be a fucking adult. And sometimes it's up to us to be the adult, because there just isn't anyone else.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
That's it. In a nutshell.
Doctor,
Yep.
let me offer you just a little wisdom of age. That's so stupid.
I was going to ask Jenny, please. Indeed. Go.
Let me go, Steph.
Yeah, you go.
You got to be prepared when you're challenging your family's path and what you were raised as, and whether it's, in your case, religiously oriented discussion, or in my case, sexually. When I came out to my parents, they booted me from the family. And within a couple of days, every one of my relatives from Boston to Oxnard knew, and also tossed me out in the garbage pile. And there was two people who didn't. my older brother and my younger brother. And they said, no, we're okay with that. And we went on with life, watching my relatives who decided to hate me, watching them die and their kids die. And right now it's me and my older brother are the only people left in our family. There was hundreds, it seemed. But I found something two things very disconcerting. I went for it's 45 years now without my family. And what I have, and I know I'm never going to get them back. I just know I'm not. I've tried with a couple, and they're quite vehemently opposed to us. And we're not a religious family. We did go to church, but we're not Bible beaters. But what I found out recently that I think hurt most than anything else is my brothers were not on my side. They were tolerating me, and they were tired of tolerating me, and that they have been very, very happy that I moved 300 miles away. And that's
Because
a
they
real
didn't
shock.
have to deal. They didn't have to deal with it.
Well, exactly. I embarrassed them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we had a lot of shared
Yeah.
friends, and because we were all in the car biz, and I was told by people I know that I embarrassed them, and so they were happy that I was gone.
Yep.
And I should have caught it earlier, because I also realized when this revelation was hitting me a year or so ago that
That's
none of my
yeah.
brothers, that neither of my brothers in all these 45 years have ever asked me a single question of any type that was related to being trans. How can you say you support somebody and go 45 years and never ask, not even be curious a little? Like, how did you pick your name or something? It's just really innocuous.
Sure,
Um,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't, no matter how good you get at it, you can't convince people to be good with you. And I just don't want I don't want to see you beat yourself up, worrying over this. I mean, yeah, do what you can, but your sanity and abilities are far more important than theirs. They've proven that.
I appreciate that, Jenny.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and Jenny's absolutely right. And I was really looking forward to, the wisdom of age clicking in here.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
pretty old
it,
too. You can have some of it.
thanks. I appreciate
I'll,
that.
I'll
And
buy you some
You're allowed
fortune.
now.
I got a year on you, kid.
I know you're the oldest person I know.
Oh, oh,
Really? Holy shit! Well,
shots
that's
fired.
not fun. No, it's I. It's funny. We were trying to put together trying to figure out how to do a call-in show last night. And we had a closed stream for the transpositions, and we were trying to figure all this stuff out. We finally got it figured out. So tomorrow, right around this time, as a matter of fact, we'll be taking some calls, I think, on our little segment of this stream. But the person who called asked this question in 50, 100 years, where do you think trans rights are going to land? And it's like, and I'm sitting there going, well, honey, when I was born, black folk couldn't use the same washroom in certain places. I mean, it's like the struggle goes on and it doesn't end. The thing that people need to recognize and realize is the struggle doesn't end. When you think you've made gains, you have. definitely made gains. But you can't take your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back and say, that's it. You know, this is the tragedy of the hagiography of people like Martin Luther King or other large figures in the civil rights movement. Sure, but you know what? That guy was assassinated. What's it going to take? Is that what it takes? Is somebody dying? Is somebody getting shot to death on a balcony in Memphis, Tennessee? That's what it takes to get you all to say, okay, maybe.
Or in front of a hotel in New York.
Right. Is that what it takes? You know,
Yeah.
and
Unfortunately.
what was Dr. King in Memphis for? He was in Memphis for garbage workers.
Yeah.
He was there for the poor folk who were getting fucking rickrolled all over the fucking place. And until we fucking get it through our heads that we're getting played, until we have leaders who are willing to do what Dr. King did, get maybe even standing on that balcony and having James Earl Ray take a gun and shoot it at your head. Until I see that leadership, you don't have the fucking right to tell me when we fight, we win, because you're not fighting. You better fucking fight, because I don't believe you when you just stand there and say those fucking words to me.
But here's the
Because
thing,
you
I'm
know
just
what? Because you know what? I'm fighting every goddamn day. And
I'm
you got no goddamn fucking standing to tell me when we fight, we win, because you know what? I've seen the fight. I've seen the fight, and I've seen the losses, and I've seen the people like you, Kamala Harris, who did not stand for a goddamn thing. Why do you think you lost it? Because you didn't fight. You didn't fight. You didn't stand for the people who are oppressed. You didn't stand for the people in Gaza. You didn't stand for me. You didn't stand for anything. You just thought you could make that fucking slogan and everybody would vote for you. Well, fuck you. If you don't stand for something, you're gonna lose. It's the way it works. You've got to make, look, people say, well, the Republicans are demonizing these, but well, look, why don't we start demonizing some folks every now and again? Why don't we start demonizing the people that are really fucking raping people? Why don't we really stand against those guys? Matt Gaetz was Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General. The fucking guy fucked a 17-year-old. Excuse me.
Well, that's part of what I'm
Give me a
saying,
break.
Steph. And when are we gonna say we looked at the numbers, we look at the polls, 8 out of 10 Christians voted for this guy.
That's
So
right.
when is that enough? Because I'm not asking you to stand on a balcony in front of 1 million people and take a bullet. I'm just saying when 80% of Christians give us this terrifying Fourth Reich, maybe it's time
Give
to
us
talk to your
Barabbas,
maybe
man.
maybe
Give us
it's
Barabbas. Give
maybe
us Barabbas.
maybe it's time to talk to your family about Christianity. That's what I'm asking to get back to. I'm not asking you to be a world beater. I'm asking to get back to the basics of sitting down as family and friends and having the same energy and excitedness to talk about your differences that you do when you're talking to rando apologists on the internet. And I know it's tough, but I'm just saying, I think that's the first stop. And I think if we did that, maybe we don't need revolutionary leaders and who get assassinated. Maybe we can just start with real grassroots.
honest to God, we do need leaders who
We
are
do,
willing
but
to stand.
they'll come, they'll emerge from families and from smaller units when it becomes favorable. Remember, MLK couched this whole thing in Christianity because that's what was cherished and valued in the community at the
Mm-hmm.
at the time.
And still is. It's still there.
Yeah, so
Hey, Jay.
that has to change.
Hey, Jay, I wanted to hop in and say hello. Haven't
How
talked
you
to you
doing, Dave?
in a long time.
Good to see you.
And I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and good to see you.
Thank you. I know, Joe. I want to take it back over to Joe because I know he's probably got a rapper. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, we got
Well, you got 4 minutes.
Yeah, I got a couple minutes left. This is what this is for, and I love that this conversation is taking place. These are the things that are important and tough to talk about that we need to be discussing. And I think that both of you are right. I think that we need leaders, and we also need people to start at home and try to fix the problem. And we need, rather than just talking about all the issues around it, rather than talking about the process and economics and all that bullshit, like we need to address the important issues, and everybody has to like do it however you do it, but take some action. I mean, me and Steph has said something since I met her that I love, which is, I don't give a shit about what you believe, I care about what you do. And unfortunately, we've gotten in this spot to where people's belief has made them take action to do something that is hurting all of us, them included. And maybe they're uninformed, whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. But there needs to be that counter action to hit that head on, because if not, do we look serious? I mean, and I feel you. After all this has taken place, like even sitting down and talking to some apologist or whatever that may or may not be a Christian or like, but if they're a Trump supporter, that's the thing I'm thinking. Like you actively took part in these things that are hurting all of us. And what can I do? How do I do it? How frustrating is it to make that move? And
or that you have nothing to say about it. Like, why are you running around the internet debating, whether Dionysus' miracles or like Jesus's miracles or the objective morality, all this nonsense I want to debate, when clearly there's all this bad behavior within their own church, usually within their own audiences, if we're being honest, and they don't have anything to say about it. Why? Because actually that's who they are. That's a reflection of their character and their values. Yeah. And so I think people like that are not high on my list because they're not very gettable. They don't care to begin with. I at least I think, fortunately, like in my family, for instance, they know I'm an atheist and I haven't been outright rejected or anything like that. It's more of they need to think through how they treat me in certain situations. And also they need to finally be made to think about what they may have overlooked about their faith. And part of that is responsibility for education. Education is a very rare and precious thing, especially in Black families and a Black community. And I just think for me, there's always been a motivation to move differently, because it's like, you can't go get yourself educated and learn about the world and then come back and see your people suffering in ignorance and not do anything about it. We call men like that cowards.
All people like that.
All like that. People
they
like
need
that.
to be
Cowards. Facts.
Adults. And that's the thing. If they do consider themselves to be Christian, if they really think of themselves as first and foremost being Christians, then caring about other people and standing up for them should be the number one thing they do. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wish we could do this for hours, folks. We got into good stuff here.
Got a little spicy. This was good.
Well, we can, just not here.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Big hugs. Big hugs.
And
we're going through it too.
And if the only closing remark I want to make, and then I'll send everybody over to Deep State Annex. You know, I care about all of you, no matter what you're doing, and as long as you're not actively, being detrimental to my friends and the ones I love, and to people. I mean, it's people. Let's treat them like people. But it's do what you can. I mean, it has to start somewhere, but start. Make a start. Take that first step. It's hard, I know.
I hear
but
that.
you will sleep better, and you can make the world a better place for real. Like, not only is this a hard thing that we're going through that you may not want to get involved in or whatever, but it's also your opportunity to make that difference if that's what you're wanting to do. You got to try though. And I guess with that, thank you so much for everybody coming, and thank you guys for being on the panel. I truly appreciate it. I missed something in the chat here a minute ago. I think Maya became a member or something.
Yep, Maya's a member.
Yes, she did.
Yay!
Yay! Thanks,
It means
Maya.
she's a cultist here now. Ha-ha.
Yeah.
my
Oh, the
goodness.
tables have turned.
No!
You have a goddess in your cult. How does that
could
work?
Possibly.
Awesome.
happen?
But
cycle of occultism.
Well, when you get a goddess in your cult, the goddess may be a jealous goddess.
Yeah. Well, Maya brings the fire, so I'll take it. But
That's truth.
yeah, thank you guys for coming, and everybody stay tuned. I'm sending you to Deep State Annex now to continue the Christmas marathon. Everybody say thanks to Purple for doing this. She's worked really hard on it for 8 years now, folks. Thanks for coming. See you later. Bye.